Well, is it a mission gone wrong or payback from Putin? That's the question in our world lead today after a United States citizen was detained in Russia and accused of being a spy. The arrest of American Paul Whelan comes just weeks after a Russian citizen, Maria Butina, pleaded guilty in a Washington courtroom to acting as a foreign agent and trying to influence the election. CNN's Matthew Chance is live in Moscow. So, Matthew, explain these allegations Russia is making against this American.
Well, they're very sketchy in the sense that no detail has been added to them. All that we know is that the Russian intelligence services, the FSB, that are in charge of basically counter-espionage, have said that they've arrested an American citizen. They've named him as Paul Nicholas Whelan. They said they arrested him on December the 28th, so a couple of days ago, in the Russian capital, and that he was, quote, caught spying, although they didn't fill in any specifics as to what exactly he was actually caught red-handed doing. Now, the US State Department hasn't been much help either, because they've issued a short statement as well, saying that they acknowledge that they've been formally told that this American citizen is in Russian custody. They've asked for consular access, though they didn't indicate it's been given yet. And they said that because of privacy considerations, that's what they say, they're not going to give any further information at this stage. And so, you know, Pamela, we're still very much in the dark as to what exactly this individual, this American, has been caught doing.
And just for context, Matthew, how rare is it for Russia to detain an American?
I think pretty rare, but it's not unheard of. And it's sort of these kinds of detentions punctuate moments of tension in the relationship between Moscow and Washington. I remember in 2013, there was an American diplomat, Ryan Fogel, I think his name was, who was arrested and paraded on television, accused of espionage, and he was sort of pictured wearing a disguise, this bizarre blonde wig, which all Russians kind of laughed at the time. There was several other incidents as well of Russians being arrested for espionage. So it's not unheard of, but it is rare. And of course, it marks the start of what could be a very tense period in relations between the two countries.
All right, and we're going to talk about that. Matthew Chance, thank you so much. So we have heard from the State Department about this, as Matthew alluded to. And in this statement, the State Department acknowledged we are aware of the detention of a U.S. citizen by Russian authorities. We have been formally notified of the detention by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And then it goes on to say it has requested consular access and, quote, due to privacy considerations, we have no additional information to provide at this time. So, Bill, I think one of the extraordinary things here is that there is so little information coming out of Russia about this American citizen, and even coming out of the State Department, though it seems like even state isn't getting a lot of information here. How do you see this playing out in terms of it impacting U.S.-Russia relations moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think I suspect this is Putin sending a message to the world. You know, we've gotten out of Syria, which is very much in Russia's interest, but Putin likes to do the symbolic stuff and to sort of rub people's noses in it, as well as just to do well in foreign policy. He thinks the rest of the world notices that. And I think here he's telling the world at the end of this year, we just arrested an American here in Moscow. Let's see what happens. Maybe they'll trade us something for him. But he's not, right away at least, he's not paying any price for it.
Well, and of course, this is in the wake of the arrest and the guilty plea from Maria Butina, who pleaded guilty to being an illegal foreign agent in the U.S. This is what Vladimir Putin said following that, quote, we will be guided by the principles of the Old Testament, a tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye. Then he went on to say that Russia would not arrest innocent people just to exchange them. What do you think, Scott? Do you think this is retaliation or not?
Well, that's documentary evidence number one. I certainly think so. And this tit for tat or prison exchange and what have you, Putin, like Trump, can say whatever he wants to say, but you have to watch their actions ultimately. And so this may be some misdirection, but ultimately they've arrested him. Obviously, I think the CIA knows a lot more than we do and what's been published and what have you. And so I would think that more will leak out coming forward. And then if there is some type of prisoner exchange, because this individual's family certainly will want that person out of Russia, we'll just have to wait and see.
And President Trump's actions will definitely be watched. Speaking of actions that are watched, his actions and how he reacts to that will be closely watched because of his relationship with Vladimir Putin.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, he had drawn criticism since he's been in office, that he's been too friendly with Putin. So it will be interesting to see if that tone changes.
Exactly. And one thing to watch this year as well. Remember, the president was actually supposed to meet with Vladimir Putin at the G20 last month. That meeting was canceled. Some signs that another Putin-Trump summit could happen in 2019. So we'll be on the watch for that.
There's a lot to be keeping an eye on in the year ahead. That is for sure. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for coming on the show.